Waldo Brian Donlevy was an American actor, noted for playing dangerous tough guys from the 1930s to the 1960s. He usually appeared in supporting roles. Among his best-known films are Beau Geste, The Great McGinty and Wake Island. For his role as Sergeant Markoff in Beau Geste, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He starred as U.S. Special Agent Steve Mitchell in the radio-TV series Dangerous Assignment. His obituary in the Times newspaper in the United Kingdom said, "Any consideration of the American film noir of the 1940s would be incomplete without him." Early life. Donlevy was born in 1901 in Cleveland, Ohio, to Irish parents Rebecca and Thomas Donlevy, originally from Portadown, County Armagh. Sometime between 1910 and 1912, the family moved to Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, where Donlevy's father was a supervisor at the Brickner Woolen Mills. Career Broadway. As a young man, Donlevy moved to New York City, where he modeled for illustrator J.C. Leindecker, who produced illustrations for the famous AeroColor advertisements. His acting career began in the early 1920s, when he began appearing in theater productions, and eventually won parts in silent films. He had small roles in the silent films Jamestown, Damaged Hearts, Monsieur Becaire, The Eve of the Revolution, and School for Wives. He had a small role on Broadway in the play What Price Glory, which was a big hit and ran for 2 years, establishing him as an actor. He was in the film A Man of Quality. On Broadway, he was in the popular musical hit The Deck, which ran for a year, then Ringside, Rainbow, and Queen Bee. He had roles in the films Gentleman of the Press and Mother's Boy. On stage, he appeared in Up Pops the Devil, Peter Flies High, Society Girl, The Inside Story, and The Boyfriend. He was in a film short with Ethel Merman, Ireno, and another short with Ruth Etting, A Modern Cinderella. He returned to the stage for 3 and 1 with Lillian Bond, a big personal success, No Questions Asked, The Perfumed Lady, and The Milky Way. The latter led to him receiving a Hollywood offer to reprise his role in the film version, but he was unable to due to a production delay. He had a final Broadway success with Life Begins at 8:40 with Bert Lahr and Ray Bolger. After that show, Donlevy said, "They were all signed for the movies. I thought that if they can make it, I'm going to take a crack too." Hollywood. Donlevy's break came in 1935, when he was cast in the film Barbary Coast, directed by Howard Hawks and produced by Samuel Goldwyn. Later that year, he was cast in Mary Burns' Fugitive. The following year, he received second billing in It Happened in Hollywood, and had a supporting role in Golden Strike Me Pink and Paramount's 13 Hours by Air. Leading man. Donlevy had his first lead in a B-movie at Fox, Human Cargo, playing a wisecracking reporter opposite Claire Trevor. He followed it with other lead roles, Half Angel, High Tension, 36 Hours to Kill, Crack Up with Peter Lorre, and Midnight Taxi. He had a supporting role in an movie, This Is My Affair, with Robert Taylor, Barbara Stanwyck and Victor McLaglen, then starred in another Born Reckless. He was in Old Chicago and was teamed with Victor McLaglen in Battle of Broadway and We're Going to Be Rich. He starred in Sharpshooters and was the lead villain in the studio's prestigious Jesse James. Paramount used Donlevy in a key role in Cecil B. DeMille's Union Pacific, stepping in for Charles Bickford. He stayed at that studio for Beau Geste. His performance in the latter, as the ruthless Sergeant Markoff, earned him a nomination for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Donlevy went to Columbia to star in a B-film, Behind Prison Gates, and went to RKO for a support part in Allegheny Uprising. He was the villain in Universal's Destry Rides Again. Donlevy was then given the title role in The Great McGinty at Paramount, the directorial debut of Preston Sturges. It wasn't a big hit, but was profitable and received excellent reviews, launching Sturges' directing career. Donlevy later reprised the role several times on radio and television. At Universal, Donlevy was in When the Daltons Rode, then went into Fox's Brigham Young, Frontiersman. He was fourth billed in I Wanted Wings. Then MGM borrowed him to support Robert Taylor in Billy the Kid. At Universal, he was top billed in South of Tahiti, and supported Bing Crosby in Birth of the Blues. Paramount gave him a star part in The Remarkable Andrew, playing Andrew Jackson, then Columbia teamed him with Pat O'Brien in Two Yanks in Trinidad. Edward Small hired him to play the lead in A Gentleman After Dark, and he supported Joel McCrea and Barbara Stanwyck in Paramount's The Great Man's Lady. In 1942, he starred in Wake Island with William Bendix and Robert Preston, playing a role based on James Devereux. The film, directed by John Farrow, was a huge success, as was the adaptation of Dashiell Hammett's classic The Glass Key. At Universal, Donlevy starred in Nightmare, and MGM borrowed him to support Taylor again in Stand By for Action. Donlevy had the lead role in Fritz Lang's Hangmen Also Die, made for United Artists and co-written by Bertolt Brecht. He had a cameo as Governor McGinty in Sturgis' The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. Donlevy was given the lead role in An American Romance, directed by King Vidor for MGM, in a role intended for Spencer Tracy. It was a prestigious production, but the film was a box office and critical disappointment. He had a cameo as himself in Duffy's Tavern, and he was Trampas to Joel McCree's The Virginian. After playing the male lead in Our Hearts Were Growing Up, he was borrowed by Walter Wanger for Canyon Passage. At Paramount, he was in 2 years before The Mast, although top billing went to Alan Ladd. Donlevy was originally going to play the sadistic captain, but wound up giving that role to Howard Da Silva and playing Richard Dana instead. At Paramount, Donlevy supported Ray Milland in The Trouble with Women, then went to Fox to play a heroic DA in Kiss of Death with Victor Mature and Richard Widmark. For UA, he supported Robert Cummings in Heaven Only Knows, then went to MGM for The Killer McCoy, a hit with Mickey Rooney, A Southern Yankee with Red Skelton, and Command Decision with Clark Gable. He supported Dorothy Lamour in The Lucky Stiff, then starred in Arthur Lubin's Impact. Television. He appeared on television in the Chevrolet Telly Theater, and made 2 films for Universal International, Shakedown and Kansas Raiders. He did Pulitzer Prize Playhouse on TV, then went to Republic for Fighting Coast Guard, Ride the Man Down, Hoodlum Empire and Woman They Almost Lynched, then filmed Slaughter Trail for RKO. In 1952 he produced and starred in a TV series, Dangerous Assignment, which he had performed on radio from 1949 to 1954. Donlevy focused on television. Robert Montgomery Presents, The Motorola Television Hour, Medallion Theater, Star Stage, Climax, Damon Runyon Theater, Kraft Theater, Studio One in Hollywood, Crossroads, the Ford Television Theater, The DuPont Show of the Month and Lux Video Theater. After a supporting role in The Big Combo, Donlevy appeared in the British science fiction horror film The Quatermass Experiment for Hammer Films, in the lead role of Professor Bernard Quatermass. The film was based on a 1953 BBC television serial of the same name. The character had been British, but Hammer cast Donlevy in an attempt to help sell the film to North American audiences. Quatermass creator Nigel Neal disliked Donlevy's portrayal, referring to him as a former Hollywood heavy gone to seed. Nonetheless, the film was a success, and Donlevy returned for the sequel, Quatermass 2, in 1957, also based on a BBC television serial. It made him the only man to play the famous scientist on screen twice. In between the films, Donlevy was in A Cry in the Night. He had the lead in a B-Western, Escape from Red Rock, and a supporting part in Cowboy. He announced that he had formed his own production company for whom he would make a Western, The Golden Spur, but it appears to have not been made. He guest starred on TV in Rawhide, Wagon Train, Hotel de Paris, The Texan, The DuPont Show with June Allison, Zane Grey Theater, and The Red Skelton Hour, had supporting roles in Jukebox Rhythm and Never So Few, and had the lead in Girl in Room 13. He toured on stage in a production of The Andersonville Trial. He supported Jerry Lewis in The Errand Boy and Charlton Heston in The Pigeon That Took Rome, and guested on Target, The Corruptors, Saints and Sinners, and The DuPont Show of the Week. Later career. Donlevy had the lead in Curse of the Fly for Robert L. Lippert, and supported in How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. In 1966, in one of the final episodes of Perry Mason, The Case of the Positive Negative, he played Defendant General Roger Brandon. Donlevy's last performances included The Fat Spy, an episode of Family Affair, new American footage shot in New York for Gamera the Invincible, 5 Golden Dragons for Harry Allen Towers, and the A.C. Lyles films Waco, Hostile Guns, Arizona Bushwhackers, and Rogues Gallery. His last film was Pit Stop, released in 1969. Personal life. Donlevy was married to Yvonne Gray from 1928 to 1936. She divorced him on grounds of cruelty, and he agreed to pay $5,000 a month in alimony. He married actress Marjorie Lane in 1936. They had 1 child, and divorced in 1947. He was married to Lillian Arch Lugosi from 1966 until his death in 1972. Donlevy supported Thomas Dewey in the 1944 United States presidential election. Death. Donlevy was operated on for throat cancer in 1971 and died from the disease on April 6, 1972 at the Motion Picture Country Hospital in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, California. He was 71. His ashes were scattered over Santa Monica Bay.